Welcome to the TechRecruit podcast. My name is Stacey Broadwell. I will be your host. Today we have Andrew Gadomski. He is the managing director for Aspen Analytics, and we are so very excited to have you. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Stacey. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm really excited to be on the show.
As managing director of Aspen Analytics, you have your hands in so many cool projects. Before we get to that, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, ZipRecruiter, HackerEarth, and LinkedIn. Thank you very much for sponsoring the TechRecruit podcast and conference. Andrew, back to you. Okay. Another thing we talked about was this career path, because as we've been talking about analytics and like this explosion in it, I felt like, wow, is this a new opportunity for recruiters, a career path, if you will, for recruiters to go into? Because I feel like if you're in recruiting, there's really not much else you can do. I mean, it's not like there's a career path, unless it's like, you can be a manager and
management,
there's
right.
really not much. So do you see that somebody who started in recruitment can move into an analytics role? Or do you think you need to be more of a data scientist to move into that role?
I'm a data scientist now, but that's because I have a degree, right? So I was a recruiter who became an analyst. And so let's make sure that your listeners know the difference, right? Okay. So a data scientist is actually going to play with data and rarely talks to executives, right? The data scientist usually talks to an analyst who has subject matter expertise, but it understands enough about data modeling, optimization, data blending, to help the scientist do what they need to do. Now, it just so happens that I know how to do the data blending and stuff, but I have people who do that work, and I'm like, all right, do this, do that, do the other thing, let me know how it goes, right? That's where I think recruiters can sit. They can sit, just as they sit in between a hiring manager and a candidate, or hiring managers and HR, they can sit between data scientists and HR. And they can say, let me tell you I know how to recruit, I know how to source, I know enough about employment branding to be dangerous, right? Let me work with a data scientist or our analyst team on how fast we are, how good we are, what our experiences will be, on operational analytics and taking the waste out. Because recruiters have a wide subject matter expertise, right? But they also are up to speed on things. This is one of the areas that have a lot of regulation. So your data scientist is not going to know all those things, all the employment legislation around protected classes, EEO, GDPR, which nobody else in the room knew about, right? But we take for granted as recruiters the fact that you have to not have, there's no bias allowed, right? That you have to cast a wide net, that you have to, use assessment tools fairly. I think a data scientist would have to get caught up to speed pretty quickly, and they would struggle, if you've never done the recruiting, to know how to link the numbers back to decisions, or better yet, what are the right questions to ask, right? So there's totally a path here. What I would say is that if you have a recruiter and let's just say they start like at a desk, just like I did, right? An engineering and ops desk, they got to make sure that they get great executive presence. They know how to pitch. They know how to sell. They know how to present. They feel very comfortable. Get all those soft skills out of the way, right? Then start working on using data to make better decisions in your own work. How do I plan my day? I mean, I'm dating myself, but I made all my plans at the end of the day between 4 and 6 p.m. I made all my call lists, and I dropped 150 voicemails before 9 o'clock in the morning every single day. And I tracked it, right? and I was using dot sheets, remember dot sheets? Jesus. So that's really old school stuff.
I love dot sheets.
Dot sheets were, rather than using systems, you would print out, like, here is the requisition I'm working on, like director of supply chain for Nabisco. And you would have literally like little Scantron dots, and you'd have 100 of them. And you would fill in a dot every time you dropped a voicemail or made a phone call on that job.
Wow.
I was like a broker back in the days that way. You were doing like 400 phone calls a day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just hammering, right? But you'd learn to use numbers to control your operation. As soon as you enjoy that, if you're that kind of a personality, then you can start saying, great, now I want to go ahead and let me just start using not just those operations every day. Let me get the trends around that. Start looking at my peer group and get an assignment from your team leader to say, I want to run reporting around our team and I want us to get better, and I'll play with it. If you can get there and you like it, then all of a sudden, okay, invest in your education. I don't care if you're using Udemy or if you go and get a master's. Start educating yourself on real business analytics. Does not equal using Excel. Okay? But if you learn what descriptive analytics is and how to have a descriptive conversation and you love it, you're going to learn that, wow, this is a very logical place for me to go from being a recruiter, not to being a manager of recruiters, but to being an influencer of those who make decisions, right? Because now all of a sudden, you got good communication skills, you know PowerPoint, you know how to make the graphs, you've looked at the data. All of a sudden, you're at the front of the room, and I got a real flavor for this at Honeywell because I ran all the analytics for our business. And my CEO said, I want you in every management resource review. So twice a year, when all the executives got together and started making decisions on who they were going to promote, where people were in the 9 box, I was in all those meetings. Lowly little head of recruiting, right? For a 5,000 person business, because they knew I needed to know what was next so I could plan. And that's what analysts get to. Analysts get to be closer to strategy than recruiting does. So that's what I would recommend.
That's wonderful. What a beautiful way to describe the path and the different opportunities within analytics, especially from a recruitment perspective, because I certainly see that opportunity. It's so intriguing too.
I'll add one more. If you don't want to work in corporate, but you have analytics chops and you get to be that, you can go and work for one of these 4,000 different recruiting technology companies and help them build better analytics, right? You can work in product development. Go work for, ZipRecruiter as an example, one of your sponsors, right? The amount of data that they have hold of, they're dying to get insights to their clients about what's going on in their businesses. Who better than a recruiter who's nerding out on math, right? I'm telling you, that an HR business partner will respond to. You used to be in these shoes, but you know math? Yeah. Come in here. I want to know what ZipRecruiter can tell me.